without me giving a heading this time, I want to jump right into it. And we're actually going to study 2 days Tanya. We're going to catch up on the Tanya. We're a day behind. So hang on one second, my friends. Let me go to the Tanya. And we will study the day's Tanya. Very powerful Tanya. We'll go through it together. Yeah. Okay. Hang on. We'll go back to yesterday. All right. Here we go. Zayis vayda cheres. This and more so. So what we said yesterday, what we're taking off from is that when you do a physical mitzvah, you are elevating the item to Hashem. You're revealing the godliness inside the item. So again, let's take it back a step. We said in the past that the world, really Hashem is revealed everywhere, but the world, when it created a covering, a facade that you can't see Hashem in the world, okay, a covering on godliness that you can't see Hashem in the world. And when you do the mitzvah, you take away the facade. So we explained yesterday, there's 2 kinds of facades, there's 2 kinds of coverings. There's like a watermelon covering, which you cannot know at all what's inside. And then there's like a grape covering, which it's somewhat translucent, but you could see through it what's going on inside. Most of this world is a translucent covering. That is most of our world. Most of our world is a translucent covering that you could elevate it, you could use it, you could lift it up. However, and we're going to actually point a very stark difference between the 2. What is an example of a covering that's completely covered? That would be, let's say, pig, for example. Why is it completely covered? You cannot elevate it. You cannot elevate the pig to Hashem. It doesn't matter how many mitzvahs you do with that, it cannot be elevated. Because the veil is just too thick. It's not something that's made for you to handle. Actually, you want to know how you elevate it? By not touching it. You actually contaminate yourself by getting involved with it, by eating it, because you cannot lift it. You're going to now be stuck. It's like carrying weights on yourself that's too heavy for you to carry, and you just can't lift it up. So the way to deal with it is by not touching it. The way to deal with translucent darkness, husk of this world, the average 90% of this world, right? I tell people, like, I want to start keeping kosher. If you go to ShopRite, 90% of the food in the store is kosher, right? And then on top of that, they also have a special aisle that's just kosher. So if you go through the fruit and vegetable aisle, everything almost in the fruit and vegetable aisle is kosher. Then you go through the chips aisle or the soda aisle, right? Everything's 90% of the stuff is kosher. You can't eat the chazer, you can't eat the non-kosher meats. Of course, you can't eat that section, but 90 or 80% of the store is kosher. Most of the stuff could be elevated. Most stuff in life, a Jew could elevate it. So our job in this world we're going to learn today, is to elevate it, to bring the coming of Mashiach. Like I mentioned yesterday, it's not that you do what Hashem wants and then Hashem gives you a gift. We're actually the ones bringing Mashiach. We're actually the ones bringing the light to the world. That's the inside. So Zayis v'oid acheres, not just do you elevate the item that you do the mitzvah with. Let's say you take the cow and you turn them into a Torah. A cow is turned into a Torah. Now, till now, it was just an animalistic, ego, self-centered thing. And now it's holy, divine, godly gift. It's a Torah, for heaven's sake, right? It's a Torah. You've now showed how it's really for Hashem. More than that takes place when you do the mitzvah. The energy that's in your animal soul, what's giving your body the energy to live, to move, to operate? It's the animalistic energy that's in you. Somebody needs to stay awake. Your brain has to function, needs the energy to function now. Your eyes to see the text. If you're speaking Torah, you need energy to speak. So all the energy of the animal, because I'm part animal, we're going to see in tonight's class, I'm going to talk about that. We're part animal, and that energy, the godly soul, needs the animal to operate, to do b'talmud Torah, to learn Torah, tefillah, or to daven to Hashem, or similar, or mitzvahs, ma'asos, all the action mitzvahs that you want to do, right? All these action-oriented mitzvahs needs your animal soul to be involved. So what happens is that I call all the blood, which once upon a time, before you did the mitzvah, was like the husk, the kind of shell of the grape, which was not holy, you were an animal basically. That part of you was the animal, and the energy that is making the animal operate is also an animal. It's under the unholiness in this world, which means you can't see God there. It covers God, it's hiding God. And all the blood the food you ate turns into your blood that operates, that gives you the energy to live. What gives the blood the ability to live? Food, right? You got to eat. That becomes your blood. The food you eat that comes to your bloodstream. That before you ate it, before you made the bracha and you ate it, it was an apple on a tree. It wasn't revealed that this is godliness. It wasn't bad. It wasn't pig. But it wasn't revealed godliness. It was that kind of husk and a cover that's hiding Hashem a little bit. You wouldn't look at it. Although Hashem made it and Hashem created it, you wouldn't see Hashem in it. But now, now you're literally turning it over from bad to good, which means self-centered, ego, whatever represented, not Hashem. And now literally you're doing a mitzvah, you're learning Torah with that apple you ate this morning, with the coffee you had this morning. It was coffee beans and water, and you're literally directing it and changing it, and you're making it into good. And now that's how you're learning Torah now with it. All that blood and all the food that ate the blood, besides the hand that's doing the mitzvah, which is actually doing the mitzvah, the mouth that's speaking Torah, and besides the Torah itself that got the mitzvah that was done, the act, all of it comes from the blood, and the blood comes from the food, and now you're elevating everything together with it. All of it's becoming holy. The food and every food that you ate that gives you blood, the energy to live, comes holy. Through the animal, who's the conduit, right? The animal part of you that knows how to take that food, and it's amazing body Hashem gives us, it turns it into the blood, which gives the energy to the body in order to operate. Then that animal soul then starts talking Torah, and now my mouth is speaking Torah. It's turning it into godliness. Revealed. This is what Hashem wants, for God's will and wisdom. Or this act of a mitzvah. Turned on the Zoom, and you're looking at the screen, and your brain is thinking. This is what we're doing now, for example, is 100% Hashem's will and wisdom. Clear. This is the reason for creation of the whole world. Everything we do, it's not as clear. But now we're revealing all the breakfast that we ate this morning, or if you had lunch already. And that became part of your blood, and that gives you the ability to learn Torah. Now, right now, it's very clear that we're doing Hashem's will. 2 minutes ago, before we started learning, it was hidden. It wasn't revealed godliness. Computer could be used for all kinds of stuff we know, not good stuff. Your body could have been doing other things. Your animal, the energy of you could have gone and done something else. No, but we just took everything now and we turned it into holiness. I think in science, like we have this idea, we believe today that everything becomes something else. I think this might fit along that way of thinking. You know how nothing, we believe in science, right? That nothing disappears. Everything evolves. Everything becomes something else. It's kind of, I think, the idea that we're saying over here. We're not saying it actually is now used. It's being used for something. It's being used for Hashem. So we're actually, when you do a mitzvah, you're not burning an animal. You're taking the animal and you're turning it into a Torah. You're taking tefillin. You can't, whatever you do, you're actually taking that energy, and that energy is now being put into Torah, and now it's revealing that's Hashem. Right? This class is all about the way we change the world. What's our mission in the way we change the world? V'chayuson, by default, the blood and our blood and the food that created our blood, that life, their energy, now becomes totally one with the infinite energy of Hashem, because right now this is the will and wisdom of Hashem. We're doing right now, the mitzvah of learning Torah is doing the literal will and wisdom of the infinite energy of Hashem. So we're revealing right now how to do the will and energy of Hashem. And therefore, all that stuff that got us to this point, the energy is also going up together with the infinite energy of Hashem. And together, our animal, which is the energy of our animal, that's our godly soul, operates through our animal to do the mitzvah. Our godly soul itself goes up to Hashem. And through this work that we're doing, all the klippa, unholiness. Again, the word we're using, noiga, translucent, the shell of the grape. We're walking. I like the example I used before. The Pokemon Go, which you find stuff in different places, or in Bitcoin, you're mining for the Bitcoin. We're all miners, and we're literally going around the world and we're finding all the Bitcoins. We're finding all the Pokemon Go's, what they need to find. By the Jew doing this, you're kind of like a heater, like little heaters heating up the water. Everybody's doing a little bit. Eventually, we're going to literally radically change that there shouldn't be any more translucent klippa unholiness. This whole world is operating through, how does it get life and vitality to our world? Through covering of Hashem, hiding Hashem, letting the world feel like an ego, through an overall general system of this husk and covering in the shell of this whole world, the Gashmi Achumi, the physical, mundane, material world, and we're changing, we're elevating till we're going to completely change together the whole world, and we're going to operate, and we're going to change the whole covering of the world and reveal how it's all for Hashem. How is that going to happen? Kasher kol neshama, when every soul, every single soul, b'nefesh the kiss, a godly soul, shabachol yisrael, that's in every Jew that's alive. Hamischalekes b'pratis l'shishim ribui. The Jewish people are split into 600,000 shishim ribui, 600,000 souls, and we're going to see at the end of Tanya is going to explain that there are 600,000 general souls. I mean, that's similar to the number, the Jews left Egypt, we keep on having that number in the Chumash, 600,000. There are 600,000 general souls. He's going to say each soul, we see there's more than 600,000 Jews. Each soul is then split into another 600,000. It's like there's 600,000 roots, and then a tree has many branches and many fruit and so on. So there's 600 main souls, 600,000 main souls. So when all the souls, what's our mission, right? A lot of times we want to know what's your mission. How much sparks are there? So when all 600,000 souls, the Kaim Kol Nefesh Pratis Kol Tayag Mitzvah Torah will do all the 613 detailed mitzvahs of the Torah, then we'll reach our goal, we'll reach our mission, and we'll completely remove and elevate the husk and the darkness of this world, the klippa and the shell of this world. What are the 613 mitzvahs? Now he's going to explain there's a double job that we have. It's not one track job. There's two jobs we have. We have the things we should do, and we're going to elevate the husk and the darkness and turn it into light. We're going to show it's for Hashem. But then there's a whole nother thing. There's 365 things that we are prohibited to do, that are prohibitions. And the way you elevate that is not touching them, because if we do, God forbid, use those 365 things, that will actually cause more damage, because it will not allow us to rise, because we're not able to raise those things. That's why a Jew can't eat it. It's because his machine is not able to operate those items. It can't lift it up, which are the shasa, Loisa said, the 365 prohibitions in the Torah, which reflect the 365 blood vessels of the animal soul to restrain ourselves. There's a certain part of, it's like in a relationship, right? There are all the things you should do in a relationship, and then there are the things you shouldn't do. If you do the things you shouldn't do, you're going to mess up your relationship with your spouse. There are things that are very important to do, and then there are things that are very disturbing to do. If you pick up your cell phone while you're talking to somebody important, they'll feel very slighted, they'll be very sad, they'll be very upset by the fact that you picked up your phone. So there are 365 things that makes you in your relationship correct with what you shouldn't do. Why not? Why can't you do those? That they shouldn't get energy and life from the sin that you're doing. From any one of the shalish klippos atmeis, the gamri, the three. Now he's going to tell you, unlike the translucent, the grape cover, these are called shalish klippos atmeis, the three unholy, completely impure, totally impure energies. So there are energies that, why can't I elevate it? Because it's not something that I could find a good in or elevate. These things are completely and totally unholy. And not just will I help elevate them, they're going to contaminate me. They're not for me to elevate. I elevate them by not touching them, by staying away from them. That these 3 unholy klippos, unholy husks that cannot be elevated, they're like the watermelon cover, which are totally covering up, which I can't eat, I can't get to. A very strong shell and cover that's not possible for me to elevate it. Those 3 unholy klippos, for whatever reason they're called 3 unholy energies, 3 unholy klippot, are what make up the 365 prohibitions in the Torah. And there are offshoots of those 365. There are details, and also there are also the rabbinic details that are involved, which are more than the 365 biblical prohibitions. Those are the rabbinic things he added. Those are all saying, "Don't touch me." It's a red line. It's red tape. These are not. You're not allowed to go there because they're not for you. V'shuv, because if you do get in touch with them, contaminated by them, like right, I get the case I brought yesterday of the sickness. There are certain sicknesses that your body, let's say, can overcome, but God forbid, there are certain sicknesses which you can't overcome, right? That are just too much for you. If you do indulge in those 365 prohibitions, the animal soul will be tainted and won't be able to go up to Hashem because it became impurified by those three unholy klipot. They're too much weight for him. They're not digestible for him. Like some people have, one of my kids has celiac, can't eat gluten. His body's not able to digest gluten. It just doesn't work in his system. In the Jewish body, it just does not work. Your body's not able to operate on those things. They can never be elevated. There's no way for you. So you're going to say, I'm going to eat this pig and then I'm going to study Torah with that energy. Sorry, it doesn't work. You're not the kind of machine that's able to elevate those things. So how does a Jew elevate that? It's by nullifying it and utterly destroying it. It's by you not touching it. Do not touch it. Do not get involved with it. This is not a Jewish person's mission in life. It's not an operational standard which you are able to elevate it. It's like eating food which your body cannot break it down. It's not in your world. So what will happen when Mashiach comes actually? God will eradicate the three unholy husks. That's what it says in the prophets. Ruach hatuma in Zachariah, right? Zechariah, it says, Ruach hatuma avrim min haaretz. I will remove, when Mashiach comes, the evil, unholy spirit. I will completely remove it from the world. Hashem says, I'm going to get rid of it. Gone. The way a Jew serves this is by not touching it, right? So sometimes, I think there's a lot of times in life, there are certain comments in life you should ignore. Don't answer every comment somebody tells you. The best way to have a relationship is by ignoring it and move on. It's not good, everything to try to dissect and elevate. No. Half of life is what we don't do. Half of life is what we do. The other half of life is what we don't do. And if you do it, it's going to mess you up. It's going to hold you down because it can't be lifted up. So not just will you be elevating it, it's going to be dragging you down now because your body cannot digest that stuff. But in the 248 positive mitzvahs you should do, your job is to bring and elevate and show how the infinite energy is inside them. We have to go around, find all those Pokemon sparks. Right? So we have a bunch of signs in the road that say, don't go here, don't go here, don't go, you'll fall. There's a pit here. God forbid, don't drive your car over there. Then we all do, go here, go here, go here. This is where you need to go. To connect and elevate our general animal soul. Our source and energy of our animal instinct, that our source of our drive, with our limbs, to make it totally one, to become totally one with Hashem. Just like God wanted, Hashem wants to have us to make his home. Like in the Mishkan, we're building a home for Hashem. How do we build a home for Hashem? Not so much in the physical building today, but in the spiritual building by making our bodies a temple, a holy place for Hashem. We should be a chariot for God, just like the forefathers. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov are forefathers for Hashem. Our mission in Golden Life is to take our animal, and our animal should go and work and work and work and create this place, a resting place for Hashem. Continuing right along to today's Tanya, we're going to catch up. And what's going to happen once we're all in sync? All the Jewish people get their own. They're doing all the mitzvahs they should, and they're not doing all the things they shouldn't do. And they're connecting it to God. And their animal, everybody's animal, the general animal soul of each individual person will become a chariot to Hashem reveal God. Then our personal animal soul, and then the overall animal soul that operates of all of us, will then get in touch with the general essence of life in this world, the nature of this world. Sheiklipas Nega Achshav, which is right now operating, the world's operating under a sense of hiding Hashem, right? It's hiding godless. Teitziasm Tumasa V'chalasa, the world will go out of its impurity, it won't be hiding Hashem anymore, V'chalasa, and its sickness. The impurity will leave, the unholiness will leave, and the sickness that the good and the not good in the world, the world as a whole, the unholiness in the world, and the goodness that's in the world, but it's kind of caught up with the unholiness, the sickness of it. The Tala L'Kedusha will all be elevated to holiness. The world will be clear that it's all for Hashem. We use Merkava Hashem to show like a chariot for God, right? What do we mean when we keep on saying a chariot for God will show that it's operating under Hashem's will and wisdom, and it's not covered. We're going to take off all the shell, all the grape shells, and reveal the seed in there, how it's really meant for Hashem. Hashem will be revealed in our world. What will happen, as it says, V'ro kol basar yachdav, all flesh will then see, the world will then see. It says in Yeshaya, Isaiah, the world will see, physic, basar, all flesh will see actually Hashem in our world. V'yofia aleim b'hadar go'in uzay, and Hashem will appear himself to them in his power, in his strength. God's glory will fill the earth, it won't be covered anymore. Everybody will see Hashem. Yisrael, and the Jewish people will see Hashem eye to eye, like at Mount Sinai. We were able to literally see Hashem, experience God in a very physical way. Like it says in the verse, as it says in Deuteronomy, in Dvarim, the last book of the Torah, you have given us to know that until now, God has been hidden in nature. Havaya, the name of God, which is the infinite energy of Hashem, we could see in nature how Hashem is running the world, right? Like we could see how Hashem operates within nature, but we will know that the nature really, it's all really Hashem operating. It will be revealed, no more sunglasses. And that really there's nothing else but Hashem. Through this, Yizbalu, L'Gamri. The three unholy husks, through us elevating the translucent husk, the grape shell husk, that we could operate with, we can eat, we can digest, we can elevate it. Those three total unhealthy klippos will be completely moved away. Because where do those three totally unholiness get it from? It's able to survive and exist now because it's sapping out energy from the translucent husk. So the really bad energy is getting its energy from the somewhat bad energy. The completely covering of Hashem is getting its energy from what's a little bit covering Hashem. Yeah, because it has a middle ground to get from. So, it's like you have, like when you go to Somalia or these places, one group is worse than the other. So like, let's say a country is giving money to someone who's a little bit bad, but then those people who they give it to is worse terrorists and worse. Once we get rid of the middleman, once we get rid of the covering of Hashem, even a little bit, they won't be able to get energy from anywhere, and the complete unholiness will disappear. So what comes out from this whole talk we're having yesterday and today? The whole end result of the coming of Mashiach, and the resurrection of his dead. Which what's the point of Mashiach's coming and when the dead will wake up? That tremendously high spiritual state. Here's the bottom line: that there will be, and what will happen? There'll be a tremendous revelation of Hashem's honor and godliness, into removing all the impurities from the world. What's the bottom line? It's all totally it's all based on you, all based on the Jewish people using their 248 limbs, because also we believe there's 248 limbs. Every part of our body, our whole us, the whole you, doing all the 248 mitzvahs that we need to do, the whole you doing it all, which will bring the infinite energy of Hashem, which will bring the coming of Mashiach. So it's all based on us. And to get rid of the bad, how do you get rid of the bad? He's saying by ignoring it, by not touching it, by not doing the things we shouldn't do, not keep perpetuating this unholiness, by keep on indulging in things we're not allowed to do. And to remove the unholy spirits from it, by us being very careful, guarding, stop signs, don't drive your car there, you're going to continue to give, you're going to fall down. All the 365 prohibitions. So you can manage to give them that we shouldn't have the blood vessels that are, okay, so I guess in the body, like in health, you need to eat the vitamins, and you need to not eat poison. right? Like I tell my kids all the time, if you keep on drinking soda, then your stomach's hurting you. You got to cut out all the unhealthy food for your body to operate. And you also got to eat the foods for your body the healthy foods for your body to operate. And then the person will operate on this pristine amount. But we are these little engines in the world that are doing it within us and thereby being a conduit, a transformer that's transforming the world. And the whole coming of Mashiach is based on us doing what we need to do. Ki klalas Yisrael, because a general Jew, in other words, we're one body really of one general Jew, of one soul, which are what? Shem Shishim Ribin Neshamas Pratis. There are 600,000 souls. The general essence of all the Jews together, which we learn in Tanya, the godly soul comes from one, where all our souls come from one place. That originally is split into 600,000 souls, detailed souls. You know what? They are the energy of the world. Why? Why do we say the 600,000 souls are the blueprints? It's like, when you're showing a projector, the old-fashioned projectors, you would stick a slide in and then it shows on the wall what's the slide. The world is just a projection of the Jewish souls. Why? Because that's why Hashem created the world. God created the world, so you should do mitzvahs. So the world is just projecting the Jewish soul. So if you do your part, the world will change. The whole world is just an outcome of you. So each person, this is where the problem comes in, or the deal. Everybody has their part in the world. It's impossible for you to go to a rabbi and say, put on tefillin for me, or do my job. It's not possible. The world is projecting each of the 600,000 souls. It's all up to you. When you fix your animal soul, then you fix your place in the world. How do you elevate the world? Because you're using the world. You're going to eat this amount of vegetables and this amount of fruits and this amount of cereal, and you're going to have this coffee for breakfast. You're going to use it all. The tzarech gufay for your body, for your animal, because that's what it was created for. In order to serve Hashem. You have to eat, you have to drink, you have to vidir, you have to live in a house. So there needs to be 600,000 homes. Each Jew needs to elevate, and all the couches. I don't know if Yehuda's here, but each couch that Yehuda sells is because it needs to be elevated. It needs to be elevated to another. I don't think Yehuda's here. We would have heard from him. Where's get that furniture here? Each item, furniture in the house, is used to be elevated. That's what it was created for. Hold on, I just went out of the place. But you're going to ask a question in 1 second. There's more than 600,000 homes, and guess what? There's more than 600,000 Jews. So how does this work? The 600,000 are root souls, which means just like a tree has a root and it grows up and it has all these branches and all these leaves and all these fruits and so on. There's 600,000 general souls, and we are branches of each soul. Each root soul Hashishim Ribin Netzasis itself has 600,000 souls that come off each root soul. So now go do the math. How much is 600,000 times 600,000? Shekol Nitzah to Neshama Achas, that every spark is one, every spark is one soul that's coming out of this tree. And they need to the world is created with their image, their imprint. They need to reach that place. That's where we live where we live. And you end up in Florida, I end up in Manalapan. And it's not just in the physical world that the souls operate in here, but even in all the spiritual worlds, the 4 elements of the spiritual world that we always talk about. In each of these 4 worlds are found the 3 levels of the soul, nefesh, ruach, and neshama. And we need our souls come from these different places, and they come down into our world, and they're reflecting the energy in our world. That's the operation for us to elevate our world. And therefore, in order for us to elevate our world, we need to each do our part in order to bring the coming of Mashiach, and that will bring the actual coming of Mashiach. And that is the end of today's Tanya. Any questions or comments on today's fascinating Tanya? I just want to mention again, tonight we're going to have a class at 8:30 on the sacrifices. What's the purpose and reason of the temple? And what's the purpose and reason of bringing sacrifices? Ira, you better be there because You were the one pushing for that lesson the whole time. Okay, so 8:30, make sure to be there. Any questions or comments on this fascinating Tanya? So the bottom line is, Mashiach is going to come through our action. It's not telling Hashem, you bring Mashiach, but we are the ones that need to bring Mashiach. Now, somebody asked yesterday, well, I think David Jarishow asked the other day, he said, well, is it possible to get all the Jewish people in? You know, and the answer must be yes. In order for us to accomplish our mission, we'll need to get every Jew to do all the 613 positive mitzvahs and not to do the 613 prohibitions, and then we will have the coming of Mashiach, and we will remove the impurities from the world. There's a lot of questions on here about reincarnation and the souls, and that you have to go to the Wednesday night class, the JLI Journey of the Soul class, and you'll find out all the information about that. So the final class, I believe, will be tomorrow night on the Journey of the Soul. Any questions or comments, or are we good?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Yeah.
I'm trying to understand this. So the 365 prohibitions, we elevate them by not doing them, from my understanding, what it's saying. And even though, and what it's saying is also that the 365...
Like saying it's like not eating, like you stay healthy by not eating sugar. So it could be that the sugar's there to tempt you, and that's why it's tempting you, but by not touching it, you're elevating it. If someone says something mean, maybe by you not responding, that's the right way. Could be at times, that's the right way for you to deal with it and to have a healthy relationship, or to you become a best friend with that person. So not always should you say whatever you think, I guess. At times in life, there are, again, a very good example is, so Shabbos, it's like half do's and half don'ts. Because when you go to the restaurant and eat, if you're on your phone the whole time, you're not going to experience the relationship with the other person. So life is about do's and don'ts. You must have both.
And even the don'ts do, it sounds like there's even sparks of holiness inside, underneath the klipa. Once it's released, there's still holiness inside it. And it kind of, when Mashiach comes, that ugliness, that cover disappears.
Yeah, I guess so. Like there is a saying, I think I saw this somewhere, it's a little bit hard time explaining. Like they say, for example, that, like, let's say pig might be kosher. I saw this somewhere, like when Mashiach comes, because it won't be non-kosher anymore. And the question goes, well, how could the Torah change? Maybe the pig will start chewing its cud. I don't know. I'm just saying a theory, and having split hooves. So because there will not be anything prohibited anymore in this world. So the prohibition's here for us not to use it. It's here to tempt us, and doesn't just because something's here doesn't mean you're supposed to use it. It could be the point of it is to not use it is the way to use it. The way so let's say go to the store. Here's what we buy, here's what we're not buying. That's how we go shopping. So both elements are part of our life in this world. Here's all the things we should do, and here's all the things we shouldn't do. And we elevate the things we shouldn't do by not touching them. They're there for us not to use them.
Wow, that's amazing.